Yo, what's up, Blackish fam? I hope all is well in your corner of the world. Man, we're getting into some new Aesop rock today. Someone in the comments section hit me up and they told me that they're actually working on a breakdown for Dorks. So I was like, you know what? Let me go ahead and jump on this. They wanted my opinion on some of it. So man, really excited to get into some Aesop rock in general. Just what he brings to the game. I'm relatively new to Aesop Rock, right? Someone in the comment section put me on. We've probably done maybe 10 or 15 of his songs. I love the vocab, love his wordplay. Just the intellect that he brings to hip hop is incredible. So you asked me to get on a song called Dorks. You know he's got something incredible to say. So actually really looking forward to this one. And low-key been really impressed with his beats. I don't know a lot about his production, but a lot of times we're playing a song and I'm just so, when I first hear it, you hear the beat and it's just like, man, when you ever hear another artist with sample something like that? So let's get right into it. And this one actually has an official video. So this is Aesop Rock. This is Dorks. Hopefully we can do it some justice with the breakdown and see what our first thoughts are, because this is a reaction as well. I've never heard this song, so my apologies if I missed some things that I know some of you guys are really into Aesop and like, no, he's referencing something from this previous album, and a lot of times I just don't have that background to catch that reference. So help me out in the comment section. Looks like he's got a missing poster and it's himself. Well, I don't know if he's the character, but the missing poster was of himself. Question. See, listen to the beat. Out of my apartment like a rat in a cage. Would the neighbors smell the corpse before the cat ate my face? I used to floss the albatross like daddy. Ooh, listen to that beat though. It's like creepy. It sounds like like someone's gonna pounce on you or something, right? Here, let's run it back so I can catch the lyrics. So that's what I mean though. The beats just come out of nowhere. Like, who in the game is using stuff like this? And I'm not into a lot of underground, but I've been getting back into hip hop with some of these artists like Lupe Fiasco, like Aesop Rock, right? Even like J. Cole or Nas. Just got to bring some intellect to the table. I don't want to hear you rap, what do you say, cabbage with baggage, with, just give me something more. Question. If I died in my apartment like a rat in a cage, would the neighbors smell the corpse before the cat ate my face? I used to floss the albatross like daddy came with the chain. I'm trying to jettison the ballast with the hazardous waste. Yo, see, look, he's already a few sentences in, and I feel like there's already something to break down, right? We caught the first part. If I died in my apartment, what do you say, like a rat in a cage? So he's already comparing himself to like, I'm in this maze of life, right? Would the neighbor smell the corpse before the cat ate my face? Like, man. So it's kind of like, all right, got to get in the vibe. Loner, nobody else. He's got a cat, right? We already did Kirby. Maybe nobody's checking up on him before the cat might eat his face, right? I like what he said about Albatross, and he referenced Daddy Kane. I don't know if a lot of young cats even know who Daddy Kane is with the chain, but he's representing something around your neck, right? For those that don't know, he said, I used to floss the albatross, right? The albatross around your neck. You could think of it as like a metaphor where there's something that is around your neck that's preventing you from doing what you want to do. But the albatross, I believe it comes from an old poem. Don't quote me on this. I believe it's from the 1800s, but there's a superstition that comes from you kill this it's a large white seabird, right? The albatross. In the poem, when he kills this, basically he kills this animal, and the shipmates start blaming him for all these catastrophes that are going on, and they force him to wear the dead bird around his neck. Him saying that, what do you say, floss the albatross like Daddy Kane, you're showing your baggage, and it's something that it's visible baggage, but it's almost kind of like you're rocking it proud, right? Like Daddy Kane would rock a chain. Keep in mind too, flossing, he's not talking about dental practice or dental hygiene, right? Now, flossing is an urban term. It's really like showcasing what you got. Like you might be flossing with your chain, right? Or floss it with these 20-inch rims, or now 26-inch rims, or whatever the new thing might be. So a really interesting way to put that. But again, his music is not for idiots, right? Because I don't know if a lot of cats would even be able to reference Albatross. And then he said something about a jettison blast. Did he say blast or ballast? Ballast, right?
Cage with the neighbors smell the corpse before the cat ate my face. I used to floss the albatross like daddy came with the chain. I'm trying to jettison the ballast with the
ballast.
Waist. The kid is comfortably numb. Routine
a jettison, that's also really interesting to say, right? That's like dropping something like when you do a fuel dump from a plane, right? So he said, I'm trying to jettison the ballast with the hazardous waste. So is he dropping, or he's trying to get rid of something? Maybe help me with that reference if you guys are catching something that I'm not. A ballast that's something I believe that's in the very bottom of a ship that helps, like in a huge, like a cargo ship, if you would. It's on the very bottom, and I believe that's the part that helps keep it afloat, if I'm not mistaken. But it's something that's for the floating structure, and if I'm not mistaken, it's like a tank of sorts.
Trying to jettison the ballast with the hazardous waste. The kid is comfortably numb. Routine a tedious crutch. Steep in self-imposed Stockholm and Lima and flux.
Okay, all right. So what did he say there? He said the kid, I'm sure he's referring to himself, I would imagine. He said he's comfortably numb with his routine is a tedious crutch. Okay, so let's play on that here. The song is called Dorks. Is he the dork, or is he experiencing working with a dork? Or he said the kid is comfortably numb, routine a tedious crutch. I think of like somebody on the spectrum, right? When you're on the spectrum, Asperger's or autism, you really need that routine, or you feel like there's disorder and chaos in your life. But let me run it back a little bit, just make sure we catch context.
Jettison the ballast with the hazardous waste. The kid is comfortably numb. Routine a tedious crutch. Steep in a self-imposed Stockholm and Lima and flux. Maybe an occupation popular with demons and ducks. Mid any mingling akin to being seasoned and stuffed.
Okay. So he's not liking hanging out. Right? He said he's comfortably numb. So he's comfortable. It might be a bad experience for others, but he's comfortable in this position. And then he said that deep in a self-imposed Stockholm, right? When you talk about Stockholm syndrome, that's it's a coping mechanism that's normally tied to people that are in really abusive situations, or even in captivity, right? Where they start to develop positive feelings towards their captors or abusers over time, right? This could be like, you're kidnapped and there's child abuse, there's sexual abuse, there's sex trafficking, where they start thinking they're working with someone. It's just a psychological effect that happens. It's called Stockholm syndrome. And I didn't really catch. He said Lima in flux, I believe. I don't know if he's talking about Lima, Peru, right? You're talking about this is an area that you think of street hustlers and outside vendors, dogs, prostitution is legal there. I don't know if he's talking about Lima, but, it could be something that he's just referencing, could be just wordplay. But what I've seen with Aesop Rock is there's a meaning for everything. It might not be a literal meaning, but in a grand scheme, he's painting a picture, right? Like he said, maybe an occupation popular with demon and ducks. Like what? So what is he talking about? Demons in the game? A flock of ducks? Duck, duck, goose, right? Let's let it ride.
Self-imposed Stockholm and Lima and flux. Maybe an occupation popular with demons and ducks. Made any mingling akin to being seasoned and stuffed.
Yeah, made any mingling. When you mingle in a crowd, you're talking to people. You're making your way through the crowd. He said, what did he say? Making any mingling akin, so it's similar to being seasoned and stuffed, right? So think about that. He just referenced ducks, right? If you're being seasoned and stuffed, you've been killed and are now being served, right? It's not a good position. So it's something, it seems like he's saying he's shy. Any mingling is like pure torture, right? Any mingling is being seasoned and stuffed. I don't want to do it. I want no part of it.
Steep in a self-imposed Stockholm and Lima and flux. Maybe an occupation popular with demons and ducks. Mid any mingling akin to being seasoned and stuffed. It's theater of jumping jellyfish, jealous little sycophants. Miserable sins, from the skippies to the pissy pants.
All right.
Each one separately convinced they're sketching with Da Vinci's hands. Delusion turning communication a prison camp. You fucking dorks ain't a threat to the cause. There ain't a lesson we can learn from the ostensibly lost. I think it's funny when defendants from identical haunts step out the tempest to measure of what the spectrum involves.
Yo, okay, all right. He's saying that he either doesn't like kids or he's not liking a certain type of kids. And it doesn't sound like he's not liking dorks. I think he is the dork. But what he said it's so we already know that he likes things to be the same, right? He said that he's comfortable with routine, right? And then he said making any mingling like being seasoned and stuff. He doesn't like to do it. And he said it's a theater of jumping jellyfish, right? So I'm sure he's looking around maybe a schoolyard or so. And what do you say? Jealous little sycophants. Who uses this type of terminology, right? I guess his audience is capable enough to interpret it, and I'm thankful that I can now consider myself a fan because I think it shows that there's a level of hip hop sophistication that you have to have. Like, you got to be this tall to ride this to hit this ride. You need to have this much intellect, or you need to be on this scale to really enjoy his work appropriately, and it's sick. Sycophant is someone that they imitate your taste, your opinions, your style. They're biters, right? It could be looked at as a little bit different, I guess, but he's saying jealous little sycophants, right? So you think of somebody copying your look, your mannerisms, like annoying ass kids. So he's obviously he has trouble and doesn't like these kids. He said they're miserable, right? Something about their skivvies to their pissy pants. So he's in this setting that he doesn't like, that he doesn't feel comfortable, and I'm sure that's because he's the dork. Let's let it ride.
Occupation poverty. I'm trying to jettison the ballast with the hazardous waste. The kid is comfortably numb. Routine a tedious crutch. Steep in a self-imposed Stockholm and Lima in flux. Maybe an occupation popular with demons and ducks. Mid any mingling akin to being
seasoned and stuff.
Jumping jellyfish. Jealous little sycophants. Miserable and flimsy from the skippies to the pissy pants. Each one separately convinced they're sketching with Da Vinci's hands.
Each one thinks that they're sketching with Da Vinci's hands, right? So they have a sense that they're better than what they are. And I got a feeling that he's talking about that from the dork perspective, right? You think you're way into yourself. You think you're Da Vinci, like, let's be real. You're painting like a 6-year-old child, right?
From the skippies to the pissy pants. Each one separately convinced they're sketching with Da Vinci's hands. Delusion turning communication a prison camp. Fucking dorks ain't a threat to the cause. There ain't a lesson we can learn from the ostensibly lost. I think it's funny when defendants from identical haunts step out the tempest to measure of what the spectrum involves.
Yeah, you hear what he said there, right? He said, I think it's funny when defendants from identical haunts they kind of step out to measure. So maybe it's like, how are these people that are so similar, they come from the same place, right? How are they looking, how are they measuring me up, right? What gives you the power?
We can learn from the ostensibly lost. I think it's funny when defendants from identical haunts step out the tempest to measure of what the spectrum involves. Maybe no one cares. Party over here, I'll be over there.
Okay, so he's missing. Ooh.
I used to hang around with rappers at the root of the scene. It meant a lot to feel the fugitive community breathe. Maybe the sentimentalized to be truly naive. I know some shit about your heroes that you wouldn't believe. I think we're all a bunch of weirdos on a quest to belong. Location, I've been impregnable fog.
Bro, listen to what he's saying. That talk about a quotable. That almost has me kind of speechless, right? Right, he's talking about these kids, right? And they all think they got Da Vinci's hand. But I guess that's part of the chorus, right? He said, I don't need no help. I'll be by myself. And they show that the missing poster, right? So he obviously doesn't want to hang out with these cats. And he said, I used to hang around with rappers at the root of the scene, right? And what he said he liked to be in the mix of things, right? He said, I know some shit about your heroes that you wouldn't believe. What's that? Well, who are we talking about, right? But I love what he said. He said, we're all just weirdos on a quest to belong, right? And that's so true about life. Like, who the fuck has it figured out? Nobody. We've all been dropped here. We don't know shit about our ancestors. Our fucking history's been fucking whitewashed and fucking southern washed, northern washed. We don't know what the hell is up from down. And let's be real about it. We're just in a place. And I love that he says that. He says something about his song, or this song is like echolocation in an impregnable fog, right? So we're just trying to see who's out there, who's similar, who we vibe with. Like, yo, we're all just here trying to make the best of this situation. It just sounds so sick. So it sounds like he's talking about, at first it was kids, but now it sounds like he's talking about kids in the rap game. Or maybe there's dorks in both, right? Because he's obviously has an issue with both, and he has an issue with people that are on the scene. It sounds like trying to judge him, where he's the dork, and maybe he wants to be, right?
Quest to belong, the song's a echolocation. I've been impregnable fog. That's why it's odd to see a pile of imperfections and flaws. Ascend a pedestal to patronize the rest of the cards in a fantasy, posturing and pageantry. I ain't even mad, I'm impressed. Shit, it's babbling.
Bro, he's just killing it right here. Listen to what he said, right? He goes up talking about the impregnable fog. He said that's why it's odd to see a pile of imperfection and flaws ascend to a pedestal, right? Most people have heard putting pussy on a pedestal, right? But you put these rappers on a pedestal to patronize the rest of the cogs, right? A cog in the machine. So it's like we're out here trying to find people similar that vibe with us. We're from the same place. We're all a pile of imperfection. We're all not perfect people doing our best. When you get in this position of power, you think that you're better than, right? And what does he say? He said, obnoxious fantasy, posturing, and pageantry. It's kind of like, who the fuck do you think you are, right? Posturing is, it's intended to impress or mislead. But pageantry is like an empty display, right? It could be colorful and rich, but it's empty. So he's talking about rappers that, maybe because of record sales or so, you think you're better than. That doesn't make you a better artist than me. That means you have more sales than me, but it might be a route that it's a path that he hasn't chosen to go, right? So just, I love the wordplay so far. Let's let it ride.
Ascend a pedestal to patronize the rest of the cards in a mess of obnoxious fantasy, posturing and pageantry. I ain't even mad, I'm impressed. It's babbling.
He's not impressed.
Play your own dirge on the way to surfing maggot beach.
Oh, a dirge, right? You don't hear that. That's like a mournful song. I would think of it as like a funeral song. You're surfing Maggot Beach. It sounds like you're playing a funeral song as you're rotting in the ground. You're dead, right?
Pageantry. I ain't even mad, I'm impressed. Shit, it's babbling. God almighty, chop and I retower the piano keys. Play your own dirge on the way to surfing Maggot Beach. You fucking dorks ain't a source of the art. You can't be cooler than the corners where you source all your parts. The poker.
Bro, you can't be cooler than the corners where you source all your parts. Ooh, he's got the breakdown. Well, I got a little breakdown right here too, my friends. I'm not always with it, but sometimes it gets a little creative juices flowing. I see you, buddy. You got that Bin Laden, right? What did he say? Man, what he said you fucking dorks aren't a source of the art. You can't be cooler than the corners where you source all your parts. Ooh, that's just, it doesn't need a breakdown. But talk about quotables, man. This is something that could be on an album cover or something. Like, it's so cool. It's so smart. It paints a picture. It kind of reminds me of way back in the day. I used to back when Facebook was still, vibrant, a nice little community. I used to have this picture of this little baby ice cooler, and people would be tripping out. I'd be like, "What's that?" I'd be like, "Man, everybody getting mad because I'm a little cooler." It's just wordplay, fucking with people. But I love what he's saying there, right? You're never cooler than the corners where you source all your parts, bro. Like, don't get it twisted. Get back in your place and know where you came from. Know who you are, bro.
You can't be cooler than the corners where you source all your parts. The poker face, all it takes a couple sorted remarks. The manicure out, we make the sorcery bark.
The manicure, that's old school. That's like a Persian mythology or something, right? Isn't that like it's similar to the Egyptian Sphinx? It's the head of a human, the body of a lion, and then it's got like a porcupine part, and then it has like the scorpion tail. I'm pretty sure that's what it is.
We let the manicure out, we make the sorcery bark. Life is so unfair, party over here, I'll be over there.
You know what this reminds me of? Very similar vibes, especially with the whole dork vibe. Alessia Cara. She has a song called "Here," right? She's at a house party, and she's uninterested in the type of people there, and they're just not like her. And I guess in that situation, she's the dork, right? It's definitely worth checking out if you're a fan of this. It's more of that. She can sing. It's not a hood song or so, but it's good. She says, "I'm sorry if I seem uninterested, or I'm not listening, or I'm indifferent. Truly, I got no business here. But since my friends are here, I just came to kick it. But really, I would rather be up in my room all by myself. I don't dance." So it says, she said, "Excuse me if I'm a little unimpressed with this, the antisocial pessimist, but usually I don't mess with this." Right, as "I'll be over here, not there in the kitchen with the girl who's always gossiping about her friends, so tell them I'll be here. Right next to the boy who's throwing up because he can't take what's in his cup. Oh God, why am I here?" It's like she's reflecting. Anyway, I think we've all done that too, where we've been at like a house party. I've done that where I just kind of outgrew my friends, right? And, I put I love my blazers, right? I got my blazers on when I was younger, obviously, my jeans, my dress shoes. I'm going out like, yo, let's get some beers. Let's hit the town. Let's see what's good, right? We're going out. We're having fun. We're talking about whatever it might be. And then my buddies are like, "Hey, we're going to pregame at the spot." And I'm from Chicago. At this spot can mean a lot of different things, but you go there and it's just a bunch of hood-ass dudes playing spades on a flipped-over crate with a box, rolling dice, weed in the air, 40s going around, and it's like, bro, I thought we were here to get some bitches. I got fucking elbow patches on right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are we doing, bro? And it's like people vibe in different ways. And we just self-reflecting, like, what am I doing here? Risking my life in these mean streets of the city out at 2 a.m. in the hood with these cats for what? To watch them play spades? I got better things to do with my time, bro.
Life is so unfair. Party over here. I'll be over there.
Alessia Cara here. Definitely check that out.
I view the rattling of sabers like a show to expose insecurities exploding in emotional code. When braggadocio to go from mostly jokey to gross. Homie till his probity is notably ghost.
He said the rattling of sabers, right? Saber, you could use it a different way. You could spell it saber, or some people do the S-A-B-R-E versus S-A-B-E-R, right? They're talking about a sword. He's talking about something you would use in sword fighting. The spelling is just different when you talk about the U.S. versus like British English. But he's talking about sword fighting, right? And then he says insecurities, expose, or exploding. But I like what he said about bragging, braggadocio, right? He said it goes from jokey to gross. And we all know that people brag in hip hop. That's part of hip hop. But there is a time when it's just like, bro, shut the fuck up, right? Like, who gives a care which Kardashian you're banging? Who cares how much? Yeah, I get it. There's a vibe for some of it, and it shows that you're doing good in the game. But I think we've mistaken it to be like most of these guys are fronting. They're leasing cars or renting cars. We're hearing about them going bankrupt. They're not around in a few years. Like, it's become this big joke where everybody is trying to impress other people with things that they don't really have. So I love what he said. He said, "Kuroda homie." What did he say to his probity is notably ghost. And when I think of that, I think of probity is very similar to integrity, but I think it's a little bit deeper than that. They're talking about like roasting someone, right? I that's the kind of the vibe I got. Let me just hear it back.
Insecurities exploding in emotional code. When braggadocio to go from mostly jokey to gross. Kuroda homie till his probity is notably ghost. Before
his probity, his integrity is gone, but integrity, it's probably a little bit more, right? Because you think of probity, you think of integrity, but it's trust, it's justice, it's honesty, right? It's like, right, like a solid guy. So it's a little bit deeper than integrity. I think it includes integrity. But he said it's notably ghost. It's gone, right?
The joke the gross Kuroda homie till his probity is
notably ghost.
Before the hobby was a job, he was a miniature help. You would wobble around your mama like an infant gazelle.
Ooh, like an infant gazelle. I think there's wordplay here. I don't know that he's actually talking about a gazelle, right? Gazelles are found in deserts, right? Grasslands, the savanna of Africa. But you could also get them in like the Indian subcontinent, Central Asia, maybe Southwest Asia. But I think what he's referring to are the Adidas gazelle, right? That's what you would wear if you were a B-boy or B-girl back in the day. So it kind of sounds like you were just a baby shadowing her moves or shadowing moves, right? You don't know shit. That's kind of what I got.
Like an infant gazelle. The disillusionment has truly been a difficult pill, but you was anything menacing.
Right, it's not as good as you believe it to be. He's a disillusionment.
The disillusionment has truly been a difficult pill, but you was anything menacing as a difficult sell.
Nah, he's all bark and no bite, right? It's a disillusion. That you are anything menacing is a difficult sell. It's hard for people to believe. It kind of reminds me of what is it? Jay-Z Takeover, where he's rapping. They're going back and forth with Nas, and he says, "We don't believe you. You need more people, right? Like we don't." What does he say? "I don't care if you mob deep. We hold triggers to cruise. You little fuck. I got money stacks bigger than you. When I was pushing weight back in '88, you was a ballerina. I got your pictures. I seen ya. Then you drop shook ones, switch your demeanor. Well, we don't believe you. You need more people. Rockefeller, students of the game. We pass the classes. Nobody can read you dudes like we do." He said something like that, but basically he's saying like, yo, we don't believe you, bro.
You would wobble around your mama like an infant gazelle. The disillusionment has truly been a difficult pill, but you was anything menacing as a difficult sell. And a whistle and bellarama. Black Molly's to dress up like piranha.
No, acting like something you're not, right? What's a black molly? It's a relatively calm species of fish. They can become aggressive if you're like in an overcrowded aquarium, but they're social. They're part of a school, but he's saying that you're a black molly, but you're dressing up like a black piranha. Black piranha, a lot of them, they have like very silvery bodies, but they actually change to a darker gray. They get like this black color. A lot of it depends on the water condition. So, like he always references Peru, right? In Peru, they appear to be almost jet black, and that's a piranha. So he's saying like, yo, you're kind of like a sheep in wolf's clothing, right? You're really a sheep, but you're dressing up and you're like a dog with a pit bull outfit on. A chihuahua with a pit bull head or a chupacabra head, right?
Bellarama, Black Molly's to dress up like piranha. It's not even compelling melodrama.
The melodrama is like a you think of like a story or a play, but it's extremely exaggerated.
Molly's to dress up like piranha. It's not even compelling melodrama. It's a comedy. Somebody when I shop you as a saga. Heavenly persona non grata. You fucking dorks ain't the leaders we need. This ain't the medium, but divas out. Not a comedy. Somebody when I shop you as a saga. I'm very voluntarily persona non grata. Fucking dorks ain't the leaders.
If you're non grata, right, it become unwelcome or unacceptable because of something that you've done. Right, it kind of sounds like what he's saying. I'm voluntarily persona non grata.
I'm very voluntarily persona non grata. You fucking dorks ain't the leaders we need. This ain't the medium, but divas out to weasel and breed.
Sneaky and reproduce. This ain't the medium for divas out to weasel and breed. Don't be sneaky, right? Like a weasel and breed and reproduce, right? Other whack rappers and other people that think the same way.
Leaders we need. This ain't the medium, but divas out to weasel and breed. I'm off in coffee with the paupers over tea with the queen.
Woo! When you think about paupers, you think about the poor people, right? And he's saying I'm getting coffee with the paupers versus tea with the queen. Like, yo, you can be at the table with P. Diddy and Jay-Z. I'd rather be sitting over here with the cats I grew up with, spitting dope rhymes in the alley, freestyling, smoking a little bit of weed, drinking a 40, getting some pizza, talking smack. Because it's real, right? It's real hip hop. It's authentic. You cats are fake and trying to live up. He said, you dorks aren't the leaders we need, right? They're the dorks, not us. It's kind of cool because at first I was thinking he's the dork, right? And this he's about to get bullied or something in school. But no, he's talking about how throughout time, whether it be on the schoolyard or whether it be in hip hop or adult life, these people they're the dorks. They're the ones on the outside. And a lot of times they don't even know it, right? They're trying to be cool. They're trying to live up to this status and be these people who they might really not be. And they're not true to themselves. Sick. Let's let it ride.
Out to weasel and breed. I'm off in coffee with the paupers over tea with the queen. Don't make them show the Regency what disobedient means.
Ooh.
Heavy load to bear. Party over here. I'll be over there.
I don't want no part of them, right? Ooh. Sick. Ooh, yo, I love it, man. This has been a real treat, and I gotta say, this is probably now one of my favorite songs from Aesop Rock. I think before it was Baby Pizza Alley. Just the references and the wordplay there was just sick. Daylight was good too, but Pizza Alley I just vibed with. But this, I could definitely appreciate. I've been on both sides, unfortunately, and I was a quiet kid growing up. But I also had a time when I was very loud and out there, and I was a fraternity guy. And, you get to see both ends of and I can really appreciate what he's saying. And again, I think this is really talking about not just children in the schoolyard, but he's talking about the music industry, right? He's talking about artists. He's talking about really community and these people that think they're better than because they ascend to a certain position. It's like just because you're on a pedestal right now doesn't make you better than. And I think that's important to remember, especially in hip hop. Man, I love Aesop Rock. We've gotten into quite a few of his songs. There's a folder dedicated to his songs where we do what we consider intellectual breakdowns. We're stopping, we're going through, we're breaking down, trying to understand the context of what he's saying. If you guys are fans of Aesop Rock, make sure to like the video, but show some love and subscribe to the channel. We're getting into quite a bit more of Aesop Rock, and if you guys are fans, I think you'll really be fans of what's to come. And keep the recommendations coming as well. If there's a song you think I should check out, even if it's from something older, I don't mind. I'll put it on the board behind me. I'm going to start listing down everything that we're going to go through, and look forward to seeing you guys on the next video.